This moment of Abraham and Isaac is filled with mystery that heaven itself seems to fall silent. A father, a son, a mountain, a knife, and a command that would test the very limits of faith. What kind of God would ask for such a sacrifice? And what kind of man would obey? This is not merely the story of an ancient trial. It is the story of obedience beyond understanding, of trust beyond reason, and of a God who provides a way when all hope seems lost. This is the story of Abraham and his son Isaac. Long years had passed in waiting. Long nights beneath the stars had Abraham counted the heavens, as the Lord had taught him to do. For the Lord had spoken, saying, "Look now toward the sky, and number the stars, if you are able to number them. So shall your descendants be." Yet Abraham grew old, and Sarah, his wife, grew old with him, and their bodies bore the witness of time. But the word of the Lord does not age. The promise of the Lord does not weaken, and in the fullness of his appointed season, the impossible came to pass. When Abraham was 99 years of age, and Sarah had lived 89 years upon the earth, the Lord visited them according to his word. And Sarah conceived, and in the appointed year she bore a son to Abraham, and Abraham called the name of his son Isaac, for laughter had filled the tent of promise.
God has made me to laugh, and all who hear will laugh with me. Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet behold, in our old age a son is given.
Thus the child grew, and the laughter of Isaac filled the camp. And Abraham's heart was knit to the boy, for he was the son of promise, the heir through whom all nations would one day be blessed. But faith is refined in fire, and obedience is weighed in silence. Now it came to pass, after these things, that God tested Abraham, and the voice of the Lord called in the night,
"Abraham,
Here I am, here I am.
take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains I shall show you."
Silence fell upon the tent. No thunder followed the command. No explanation softened the word. Only the weight of obedience remained. Abraham did not speak. Abraham did not argue. Abraham did not delay. For faith that has walked with God many years has learned to trust even when the path is dark. Early the next morning Abraham rose. He saddled his donkey. He called 2 servants. And he called Isaac, his beloved son. He cut the wood for the burnt offering with his own hands, and he bound it together. No tear is recorded, no cry is written, only obedience. And they set their faces toward Moriah. 3 days they journeyed, 3 days of silence, 3 days of footsteps, 3 days of a father walking beside a son whom he believed God could even raise from death. For Abraham reasoned within his heart, if God gave this child from the deadness of our bodies, then God is able to give him again, even from the grave. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted his eyes, and far in the distance he saw the mountain. And Abraham said to the servants,
Remain here with the donkey. I and the boy will go yonder and worship, and we will return to you.
He spoke words of faith, though his heart bore a burden no man could measure. Abraham placed the wood upon Isaac's shoulders, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. And together they walked upward. As they went, the silence deepened, and at length Isaac spoke.
"My father,
Here I am, my son.
behold, the fire and the wood. But where is the lamb for the offering?"
And Abraham answered, though his voice trembled with faith,
My son, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering.
And so they went on together. They came to the place God had spoken of, and Abraham built an altar there, stone upon stone, wood upon wood, each movement slow, each breath heavy. Then Abraham turned toward Isaac. No struggle is written, no protest recorded. The son of promise trusted the father of faith. Abraham bound Isaac, and laid him upon the wood, and raised the knife in his hand. The heavens were silent, the mountain held its breath. Then suddenly a voice from heaven cried,
Abraham! Abraham!
Here I am.
Do not lay your hand upon the boy. Do nothing to him. For now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
And Abraham lifted his eyes, and behold, a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. And Abraham took the ram, and offered it upon the altar in place of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place,
The Lord will provide. And it is said to this day, On the mountain of the Lord it shall be provided.
Then the angel of the Lord called again from heaven,
By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, surely I will bless you. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heavens and as the sand upon the seashore. Your offspring shall possess the gates of their enemies, and through your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice.
By faith Abraham offered Isaac when he was tested. By faith he believed that God was able to raise the dead, and in a manner of speaking, he received his son back from death. Thus faith was proven not by words, but by obedience, not by understanding, but by trust. And yet this mountain bore a deeper mystery. For many generations later, upon another hill, another father would offer his only son, not spared, not replaced, not rescued from the knife, but willingly given. For God so loved the world that he did not withhold his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. The ram in the thicket was but a shadow. The altar was but a sign. The wood upon Isaac's back foretold a greater cross. And in this, God revealed the heart of heaven, that he himself would provide the lamb. Thus stands the story of Abraham and Isaac, a story of obedience without explanation, of trust beyond understanding, of faith that walks 3 days in silence toward the will of God. It asks of every soul, what do you hold most dear, and will you trust the Lord even there? For the God who tests is the God who provides, the God who commands is the God who redeems, and the God who asks for all is the God who gives himself. On the mountain of the Lord it shall be provided.